Why do you consistently seek validation from others? Oh, that is a really good question. Okay, yeah. Do I actually kind of like a seek for validation? Okay, what's a validation? A validation means like that कि someone says good to you and you feel really good. Okay, yeah. Like if someone says good to you, that is called kind of like a something a validation. Okay, yeah. So getting that like a someone says good to you, that means like appreciation or kind of like a something compliment, right? Yeah, like if someone gives you compliment. All right, yeah. So someone gives you compliment called validation. Is it right? Yeah. So getting the validation is wrong. No, it's not wrong. It's kind of like a something okay. But the problem is that ki you are only doing this thing for the validation. Means like that you are always kind of like a something doing stuff for kind of like a something like that ki appreciation get from others. Okay, yeah. So is it bad? Well, yes, it is bad because you are kind of like a somebody doing work for appreciation from others. How is it bad? Like basically if I'm kind of like a somebody run like I like running. Okay, yeah. So I started running like a state level championship. Okay, yeah. And after I win the running match or after I win the race, I get appreciation from everyone, like my father, my parents, my teacher, from everyone. Okay, yeah. So I'm getting validation. So is it right na? So is it good? Yeah. Okay, you don't really understand the point. Okay, yeah. What do you mean by that? It's kind of like a somebody is this thing that key, like basically it's a very hard to understand or hard to explain, but it's not. Okay, external validation is a kind of like a somebody depend on someone. Means like that key like appreciation. Okay, yeah. Or compliment. Example. Okay, yeah. Let's take same example. Like a running. Okay, like I like running. Okay, yeah. So when I run at school championship, I get like I win that race. I win that race and I get appreciation from my father, parents, teacher. I feel really good. I also get validation. Okay, yeah. It felt me really good. Okay, yeah. Then I started running more. Okay, yeah. Then state level championship. I win. I win the match. I get the compliment. I get the all those validation from others and teachers and everything. I feel really good. Now national level championship. In that national level championship, I was kind of like a putting so much hard and effort and everything, but I am not able to win. Why? Because I don't know, like basically the competition was too tough and I think I was not really prepared that well and I didn't really win that race. Okay, yeah. But I still get that validation. Like still my parents seem still someone says that "Ki, yeah, you did something really good. Try again next year." Okay, yeah. I it felt me something really bad and I try to prepare again and I fail again too. Like I fail try to national level championship, but I fail again. What is the only problem with this thing? Why I'm not kind of like a winning the race? Like I won the state level championship, I won the school level championship. Why I'm not winning the national level of championship? Because let me tell you one thing, if you want to kind of like simply achieve some certain thing or kind of like simply improve some sort of skills and craft, you're not kind of like a simply totally depend on the validation. No, you have to be make sure that ki how do you supposed to make your craft as good as possible as you can. Like basically you are always like you need to be focused on running. Like basically just how do I supposed to run even more faster? How do I supposed to run even more faster? What kind of like assembly exercise should I supposed to do? What kind of like a diet should I supposed to do? What kind of like a jump should I supposed to do? You have to think about that. Okay, yeah. And don't really worry about validation because people say so many good and bad stuff. Okay, yeah. Like basically you don't really win this. And some people kind of say that ki you are not meant for kind of like a national level of championship. You might gonna hurt because you all the kind of like a something really the something really the things that you are doing for validation, and after all your effort and everything, you're not getting that validation, you're not getting that appreciation, then you feel really bad. Okay, yeah. And when you feel really bad, you might not do this thing again, because all the time you are kind of like a putting the effort just for the validation, and that is wrong. Okay, yeah. Because at some certain point, people will not gonna give you that validation. People are kind of like somebody used to with this thing, even if you how good you are doing such a thing or not. Okay, or how effort that you're gonna do, in the end people consider that, yeah, that is, yeah, some people give it validation, some people kind of like are telling this thing, some people are not. Okay, yeah. It's like a something really very crazy thing. Okay, yeah. So chasing the validation is wrong. Well, yes, it is wrong. Okay, yeah. Because in the end you are kind of like a something, all the things or all the effort that you are doing for kind of like a getting the appreciation from others, and which is really bad. Yeah. Because you should supposed to be focused on your craft and improving yourself and things like that. Chasing validation is something that key, like, I don't know. Okay, yeah. Let me tell you one thing about my stuff. Okay, yeah. Usually is this thing, did I chase any kind of like a simply validation from others? Well, I did not. Yeah. And why? Because I am not really good person. Yeah, like I'm not really good at, and basically is this thing na ki for me, validation or compliment or appreciation I haven't really get in my entire life. Usually someone give me little bit of appreciation regarding about my work maybe, but it's very very little. Okay, yeah. I always get criticized a lot regarding about my work, regarding about my life, regarding about my life choices, and I realize that ki they are not wrong. Okay, yeah. Because I fucked up a lot. My real ground situation is I am 31 living with my parents. I'm not earning any money, single money at all. Like I am like a really pathetic loser. You could kind of like a judge me regarding about that. I am that kind of person. Can you imagine yourself into my situation, like a 31 living with your parents and not earning money? Just kind of like, could you just imagine? I am that fucked up person, dude. Okay, yeah. So so basically is this thing that key in my entire life I did so many fucked up thing, because yeah, I am really fucked up person, and because of that I haven't really get any kind of like a something appreciation, compliment, validation. I haven't really get nothing really at all. Like I always get criticized so a lot from my mother, from my parents, from everyone. Okay, and everyone thinks I'm loser, and yeah. So basically is this thing that ki I didn't really expect any kind of like a somebody any kind of like a somebody appreciation from other. Yeah, like I know that ki one day I will gonna do something really good with my life. Okay, because I believe in myself, and I believe in my craft, and I believe that stuff I'm gonna do something really good with myself. I know that I'm gonna do. I'm really have strong feeling regarding about that. Okay, yeah. and and that's it, dude. It's just like that ki I'm not kind of like a something doing this thing for kind of like a something appreciation from others and stuff like that. No. Yeah, I know I could do those things, and I'm gonna do that thing. Okay, yeah. So am I ever kind of like a somebody chase any kind of like a something external validation? I did not. Okay, yeah. So but chasing the validation is bad. Well, it's up to you, dude. Okay, it's up to you. It's, I don't know who you are, what kind of like a situation you are in. Okay, I'm saying that key external validation is a I still don't know. Okay, because sometime at some certain situation, it might sound so good, but at some certain situation, it might sound so bad. Okay, yeah, and whatever. Okay, but still, I believe that ki whatever the work that you do or whatever the target that you wanted to achieve, it's all up to you. Is all up to your craft and is all up to you. How do you supposed to improve this thing by yourself? Do not kind of like a something set as a target for external validation. No, set a kind of like a target that you want to be achieve, that you kind of like a feel something really good. Okay, yeah, people gonna do something really good stuff and stuff like that. Okay, yeah, so yeah, this is it. Okay, but still external validation is somewhat somewhere is a kind of like a something essential too at somewhere. I don't know, yeah. Okay, yeah, example, um still I don't know, it's a very like I seen in my entire life and might be like something life is not kind of like a something black and white, like a things are black and things are white. No, there are so many grays and there are so many blacks and there are so many in between all those things. Okay, yeah, if I'm gonna say that external validation is not right for everyone, it doesn't mean that I'm kind of like a something right. No, I might gonna something wrong, because like basically the external validation kind of like a something that concept is not kind of like a something add any kind of like a something value, so that's why I didn't really care that much. But if you are kind of like a something person that you are kind of like a something affect so much, or kind of like a, you are care about that external validation or you live for that external validation, then and you are getting so pumped up when you get that validation things like that, then okay, yeah, because in the end you have to make your work as good as possible as you can, but do not kind of like a something make sure that that external validation is a kind of like a something lifetime source. No, nothing really at all. I don't know, it's up to you, by the way. Okay, yeah, but regarding about question, am I ever kind of like a something seek any kind of like a something validation from others? I haven't really seek any kind of like a simply validation from other. Nothing really at all. Okay, yeah. Okay, so there are kind of like a, some sort of reason are actually suggested by the chat GPT, which are kind of like a something really for why we are kind of like a seek the external validation. Okay, yeah. Okay, point. Desire for acceptance. Oh, that is really good thing. Okay, yeah. What's the kind of like a desire for acceptance? Okay, yeah. um Example, okay, yeah, you went to the high school. Okay, yeah, like basically you went to another city. Okay, a metro city. Okay, all your life you are actually kind of like a something in local city. Okay, yeah, but suddenly you went to you moved to the new city, a metro city. Okay, yeah, and you went to such a school where everyone is kind of like a something very high-fi. Okay, yeah, you are kind of like a took the admission at high school. Okay, you are at kind of like a something standard 11th or maybe 12th, maybe 11th. Yeah, let's take 11th. Okay, yeah, you are at 11th. How do you supposed to say 11th as high school? Okay, sorry, I'm kind of like a bit wrong. Okay, college. Okay, because let me tell you one thing, high school is actually end after the 10th standard, and 11 and 12th considered to be a college. Okay, like regarding about the Indian education point of perspective. Okay, if you went to US, then probably high school is meant to be 11 12th. Okay, yeah, like after you complete 11 12th, then your high school is ended and then you move to the college. Okay, yeah, but like 11 12 is considered to be college in India. So I'm gonna say okay, yeah, so you went to kind of like a something like a 11 standard with a kind of like a something like a very cool college and things like that, and everyone's really great. Okay, yeah, uh, actually you took the admission at the off season. What's the off season? Off season means like that a midterm. Okay, yeah, like basically college started for almost like a 4 months, and after 4 months you took the admission. Okay, yeah, now it's a kind of like something very difficult for you, because when you kind of like went to that college, everything feels really dreamy. Okay, yeah, because everyone like you are a girl. Okay, you are a girl, and everyone looks so beautiful, like your colleagues and your kind of like something female students are look so good. And if I'm try to compare myself, I am not looking that well good. Okay, and by the way, I didn't really have any kind of like a assembly friend. Okay, yeah, so I was kind of like a simply seeking for any acceptance, that ki someone kind of like a simply became my friend. So next day I went to the college with kind of like a something so much makeup on and things like that. I wear something really nice shoes and nice dress and things like that, and I feel little bit of something really good, and I look something really little bit good too. Okay, yeah. Now I went to the college and somebody like us, I started talking with someone, and now she became one of my friend. And that whole group or might be kind of like somebody accept this thing. So in that particular situation, you kind of like seek the acceptance. You really required kind of like some acceptance into that particular group and things like that, and that's why you are kind of like a do that makeup, do that kind of like a dress good, something like that. Okay, yeah. So basically is this thing we are actually seeking the validation is kind of like a something for the acceptance of the people. Okay, yeah. What should I supposed to do? Like if I am in that particular situation, I will definitely gonna do the same thing. Okay, yeah, because like let me tell you one thing, humans is kind of like a something evolve around the community of other humans. Okay, yeah. Like basically, like this is kind of like some things that we have since the beginning of the existence of the human. Okay, yeah. If the humans didn't really gather each other and create the community, we won't be able to survive, because the entire jungle became so wild and everything. The only source, like only survival rate is higher when we are gathered together. So that's why everyone is actually kind of like a seek into the group, so that we would be kind of like a something safe from, I don't know. It's a kind of like a something with the feeling that we have. Okay, so that's it. All right, yeah. So acceptance is kind of like a things that everyone really required. Okay, yeah, and that's why we seek the some sort of validation or kind of like a do that stuff. I don't know. Okay, yeah. Second point, low self-esteem. Oh, that is really good point. Okay, what is low self-esteem? Low self-esteem is like that ki you are not believing yourself at all, or you have little less confidence in yourself. Okay, yeah. What exactly is this thing? What is exactly? Okay, yeah. I'm gonna tell you something really very crazy thing. Okay, like before that, let me I just talk about that external validation is not really good thing, but right now I'm gonna tell you external validation is kind of like a something right thing. Okay, yeah, and I'm gonna tell you some sort of example with it. All right, yeah. So you are in high school. Okay, yeah, and you are kind of like a something a badminton player. All right, yeah, and basically today you have a match. Okay, yeah, it's a kind of like a something match between your college and other college. Okay, and you definitely have to win that particular tournament, that badminton tournament. Okay, yeah. And since you are bitterly confident, but since you wake up and you realize that your father and your parents are getting divorced, you are feel really bad, so bad that your confidence went little low. You don't really you don't really you you just kind of went to the another zone. Okay, because the really tragic thing is actually happened to you, and you know that your parents are getting divorced. Okay, but still you have kind of something match to face. Okay, you have to win that tournament. You went to the college, you went to the school. Okay, yeah, everyone is kind of a cheering you up, like, dude, you have to win this tournament, dude, you have to win this tournament. They don't really know anything about your parents are getting divorced, but you just kind of something just a soak inside of it, and someone is kind of somebody giving you that, dude, you have to do this thing, you have to do these things, and you are kind of something so fucked up. Okay, yeah, you went to the court. Okay, yeah, and you started playing badminton, and suddenly you realize that कि another person started winning. Okay, yeah, and you are kind of like a something, you are not taking fully 100% of your match, and probably you are kind of like a losing. Okay, then suddenly everyone is kind of like a shouting, everyone is kind of like a saying this thing, everyone is kind of like a cheering you up, your friends, your kind of like a something friends, girlfriend, or whoever the person, everyone is kind of like a something cheering you up, that you can do this, you can do this, you can win the match, you can win the, like basically, yeah, like basically everyone is kind of like a cheering you up. And suddenly you just shift focus from your parents to your all your friends, and suddenly you are started cheering up, you feel some sort of energy inside of you, and then you started playing the badminton, and then you win the game. Okay, yeah. So basically, let me tell you one thing na, ki external validation is kind of like a somewhat somewhere helpful too. As I mentioned, yeah, because in this sport event, cheer up is a kind of like a something that ki you get like a, basically when you get some sort of like a, I don't know, like when you get some sort of validation from other, you get little bit of energy inside of you. I don't know what is exactly that energy, but it's something that you are gonna cheer up. You feel really good. You are started doing something really great. Okay, yeah. And you already experience this thing, like when you are at the particular tournament and people are kind of like a cheering you, cheering that particular player and things like that. That player kind of like a do something so well, so well. Okay, yeah. So this is what happened. Somewhat, somewhere that external validation is a kind of like a something really important. So point was that key low self-esteem. Okay, so basically when I know that when my parents was getting divorced, my kind of like a confidence went low. I was kind of like a something not believing in myself. I was kind of like a something very fucked up person. Like a I was not really sure what is actually happened. Like it was like I was kind of like a losing entire life at that moment. That is called kind of like a, something really low self-esteem. Okay, and when that low self-esteem happened, you are kind of like somebody seeking some sort of validation, but at that time no one is actually giving you any kind of like a somebody validation. Okay, until you unless when you face the kind of like a somebody match and your progress or your kind of like a something like performance is depend on someone. So in that particular situation people are kind of like a giving you validation, cheer you up and things like that, and then suddenly you just getting some sort of energy and you win the match. Okay, yeah. So in that particular situation, getting the validation is a kind of like a something good thing in that particular environment. Okay, yeah. As I mentioned earlier, chasing validation is a kind of like a something very bad thing, but sometimes na it, like when you get the validation from others, you feel something really good. You felt something amazing. Okay, yeah. So yes, this is what point. Maybe I'm kind of like a something very wrong regarding about the low self-esteem, but probably I might describe this thing very properly, but I'm not really sure because like chasing the validation and cheer you up is a kind of like a something two different thing. Okay, yeah, chasing the validation means like that you are always kind of like a something chasing the validation. You always want some sort of validation, but when you get validation from people automatically, that is called little bit cheerful. But I still I don't know, it's a kind of like it's not two different thing but work as the same thing, but I don't know, it's very different. Fear of rejection. Oh, that is really good point. Okay, that is really good point. Okay, yeah. So what exactly is this thing, fear of rejection? Okay, yeah. So seeking the validation can a way to avoid the criticism or rejection. You may try to align with others and expectation to feel the safe or like. Okay, what is exactly this thing? Okay, if you don't really understand, let me give you examples so that you could understand. All right, yeah. So you are in the college. Okay, yeah, and you like particular girl. Okay, yeah, like when she came you feel really good, you are like you are fall in love with that particular girl, and you are like a kind of like a looking at girl from last 2 3 year, and you, I don't know, like basically you love that particular girl. Okay, and basically you are started talking but very lightly. Okay, yeah, and then suddenly you are started kind of like somebody communicating on the WhatsApp and then call, but you haven't really tell you are kind of like a feeling to her, nothing really at all. Okay, yeah, now it's a time. Okay, now it's a time that you have to tell you are feeling to that particular girl. Okay, yeah, it's a very scary moment at that time. Okay, yeah. So basically you are bitterly scared. Okay, yeah. So should I propose that girl or not? Okay, yeah. Should I, like, am I reach that particular level so that I would propose that girl or not? Like, I'm bitterly scared. So you talk to your friends that key, like, I like this girl. Should I propose that girl? Should I do that thing? Should I, how, like, if I propose that girl, then how would I supposed to do that thing? How would I supposed to, it's a kind of like a somethingly when you are in that um particular thing that you might gonna reject. Because let me tell you one thing, that key, you are talking with that girl and something like that, but still you don't know that key if she like you or not, or maybe she will reject you or not. So you are kind of like a something, try to play a kind of like a something safer game. That safer game is like that key, should I propose her or not, or should I kind of like a, what kind of like a something steps should I supposed to do to approach that girl and something like that. It's a very weird thing, dude. Everyone does it. It's a kind of like you are playing safe game. Okay, but let me tell you one thing, this example is not properly matched with this point. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna give you another example so that it would kind of like a perfectly match. Okay, yeah. So you are at interview. Okay, yeah. And there are almost like a 20 employees are there, you are also one of them. Okay, yeah. And basically you heard that key interviews are going really crazy. Like basically the interviewer is kind of like rejecting all of them. Okay, yeah. Right now your number is 16. Okay, yeah. And basically all the previous employees are rejected. Okay, yeah. So you are kind of like a something bitterly scared because you really required this job and you really required to nail this interview. Okay, yeah. So you are kind of like a something fear of rejection, that you might gonna reject that interview, something like that. So what should you supposed to do? You are kind of like a try to talk to the people that key, like whoever the person got the interview, just talk to them like what kind of like some question interviewer ask and things and that and that and that. You are trying to getting the information why does those people are fail in the interview, and what kind of like a something should I supposed to do or not do. You are kind of like a something try to play safer game so that you might gonna get that interview well and you will get that job and things like that. So this is what kind of like a something happened. Okay, yeah. When you have kind of like a something fear of rejection, you will also get little less confidence, and when you have little less confident, you are kind of like a something try to get some sort of like a information to get appreciation from other, and that appreciation means interview. And when you get that interview, the appreciation or validation is kind of like a something the same thing in that particular point of perspective. Okay, yeah, because when you get that job, when you get that particular interview well, then probably it's kind of like a something really good. Okay, yeah. Because I don't know, yeah. But still, am I kind of like a something, maybe I'm pointing out this topic very wrongly, yeah. Because chasing the external validation is a kind of like a something very different thing, and kind of like a something a fear of rejection is a kind of like another thing maybe. But I don't know, it fit with perfectly na. Like basically is this thing, if I'm fear of something, I might have low self-esteem, I might have low confidence. And when I have low confidence, then I might try to figure it out. I'm trying to kind of like a something be part of that person. I'm trying to be kind of like a desire for acceptance into that particular company or things like that. So that I'm kind of like a seeking some sort of information regarding about how do I supposed to get that job, or how do I supposed to get that interview so well. So you are try to get that particular information and stuff like that. And after you get that particular information and use that information to get that job, you will get little bit of something like appreciation. Okay, yeah. And that appreciation kind of like a called as a validation probably. I don't know, yeah. But probably somewhat kind of like a something. It's a very kind of like a stuff. Okay, yeah. Social influence. Okay, yeah. Social influence is also kind of like a something depend for seeking the validation. What's the social influence? Okay, yeah. Okay, it's a very like it's not really that hard to understand. It's a kind of like a something very common thing. Okay, yeah. Social influence means like that ki, Example, okay, yeah, you neighbors bought a car, okay, yeah, like basically you have a two-wheeler bike, okay, yeah, and and basically whatever the communication, like whatever the transportation that you're gonna do, that two-wheeler is actually doing it really well, and that two-wheeler is really good, okay, yeah, but suddenly your neighbor is actually bought a car, okay, yeah, and then you are started also thinking about that key. I also want to buy a car too. Okay, yeah. So basically, you bought the car. Okay, yeah. Why do you bought the car? You don't really require a car, but why? It's kind of like a some social validation. It's like that ki we always want to be fit into the society. We always want to fit into the kind of like a some certain situation and something like that. So this is what kind of like a some is this thing that we are kind of like a doing such a thing for social validation, for kind of like a liking someone else and something like that. Probably why I'm kind of like a I'm kind of like a scared of this door is that like a someone is actually kind of like a came a ghost, and so that she could see me and I could see her, and I'm literally scared of this door right now at this moment because it's been almost like a 2 a.m. at the night. I don't know why I'm bitterly scared, but I just kind of like suddenly scared of that this door. Like I'm just seeing this door and I just like really fucked up dude. It's like behind the door, entire darkness. What should you supposed to expect at 2 a.m. at night? A light? Sorry. Okay, yeah. So these are kind of like a somethingly seek for validation, a reason for seek for validation. Okay, reason number one, desire for acceptance. Reason number two, low self-esteem. Reason number three, fear of rejection. Reason number four, social validation or social influence. These are the way, that's why we are kind of like always seek for validation. Okay, yeah. All right, this is it. I should supposed to be end here, and thank you.